like to welcome David and Dustin for the annual insurance presentation. So take it away.
Applause. Excited about the insurance presentation, but
After the big flood of July 16th, and taking insurance a little more seriously, we had a lot of people who found out they didn't have adequate coverage.
really,
Oh, yeah.
wow. I don't remember that. Of course, you brought up in Mount Lake, as you know. I don't remember that being an issue, but.
In July, it was the flood in July. That we just had.
5.5 inches in a couple hours.
Yeah, that would do it.
Oh,
This is a nice setup we have. Does this mean people can watch?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we probably, when they heard an insurance presentation, they probably didn't drive it. You were sure.
It wasn't like the Chiefs and the Jets. Let's put it that way.
yeah, right.
And I always ask if you have any special time frame, I'll work with the time frame. Probably go to 15 minutes or so. That works. Everybody. And I think I introduced everybody, Dustin Hall, who's the newest employee, and we've been studying, take his insurance exam this Friday. Dustin, native of Glens Falls, graduate of Glens Falls High School, Navy for 2 years, and then graduated from Syracuse University, and it's sort of been assigned to be my shadow. And I do want to make it very clear, not my replacement, because I like what I do. And so, and I especially like coming here because this used to be, as you all know, a drugstore. And sort of along through there, the chairs and
Soda fountain.
the camera, and sweep your ice cream back there, and back over here, mini gift shop. And
Is there a barber shop in here? Because we still have the barber chair behind that whiteboard.
yes, the barber shop goes in the behind the kitchen. Yeah, there was another.
Oh, yeah.
Little, yeah, I remember he charged 50 cents.
Oh,
it was 2 bits. Time.
2 bits, is it?
So.
The haircut, 2 bits? 2 bits.
Yeah, that's right, 2 bits. Yeah.
50 cents.
And I was talking a few minutes earlier. In those days, you could ride your bicycle all over the place and not have to worry about it. Dustin and I actually were meeting with another village Monday night when the news came out, and everybody applauded. And it's quite a moving moment, I thought. But in this day and age, unfortunately, you can't let your kids out of your sight. It's really a shame. But anyway, that's not my fear. I just come into my 15 minutes already. But
We'll start now.
As you know, the insurance is divided into 2 parts. The fire department segment is separate. Basically, the company there that the last 2 years paid a 15% dividend, and so it's always nice to be in this company consistently paid dividend. I think in 30 years they've missed once. So this is the municipal part here. The second page is just how you reach us. Um, third and up to the top of the fourth page are your municipally owned buildings and contents. And selective has raised those by 4%. Because of this happening in the construction world, you do have replacement cost coverage. I think I explained last year, they add up the value of all your building contents. And you'll see at the top of page 3, what's called a blanket limit, which is 3.79934. If there was a total loss on any of these buildings, you can always access the blanket. So another way of saying it is, you really don't have 1.1 on this building. You really have 3.7 on this building because of that blanket feature. So that's, and it is replacement cost coverage. That means, of course, no depreciation will be taken on the payment. So everybody see how that works. Over on page 4 is the general liability. General liability basically protects the village from anybody who is hurt on village property, entering the buildings, or get hurt auto accident in the street because the village owns the streets, and also under general liability, you have coverage for potable water in case there was a claim about the water made people ill. It looks like a $1 million limit, but we've got a $3 million draw. So by adding the two together, we've got $4 million in general liability claim. At the bottom of page 4 is the cyber liability. Basically, that protects the village if a hacker gets into your computer and personally identifiable information is compromised. Under state law, you would then be required to notify those people in writing, give them credit counseling. You want to ask your IT guy, how did that happen? You might need some extra legal services. So you do have $100,000 if a person in that situation sue, but normally if you take those proactive steps, I haven't seen a lawsuit of that type. You have $50,000 for that privacy breach coverage. It's not a lot of coverage. You've all heard of ransomware. With only 20,000 for ransomware, although the IT experts today are recommending that if your computers are locked, that you actually don't pay the bill because there's no guarantee they're going to unlock your system. And money would have been sent to them by Bitcoin, probably some wire transfer, something called location. So you do have some coverage for that. And if you wanted more, I could get a full-blown cyber policy for $1 million, with $1 million limit. They tend to be expensive, as you might imagine. So this seems to be a good compromise.
What does the retention $2,500 mean?
Here it is, all of our stuff is contract.
Yes.
Is there provisions in our contract with those vendors that cover any breaches? Are we insured through our vendors?
I am not sure about that, so I don't want to say.
That's a good question.
I will
Tina,
check.
because
If we are covered under some of that, this is probably sufficient. I initially when I looked at this, it's just kind of low, but we are covered since we don't have anything in-house, and this is contracted out. if we're covered through insurance, then this is probably good.
Yeah, and I can tell you, this is, that part of the premium is 440. For a year. So it's not overwhelming part of the premium, where if you've got $1 million cyber policy, that would be more like 4,000. That's a good question. You have to check the contract and see if the IT assumes responsibility or holds in office. A lot of them might not want to do it, but it would be a good thing to try to get. So that's a good point. There are no other questions on that page? Or?
Yeah. The cyber liability and privacy breach, etc. They're under the title of general liability. And I'm under the impression that we have umbrella coverage for all general liability. So really for privacy breach, it's $1 million plus $50,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, on the cyber, those limits are the limits. The umbrella doesn't apply over the cyber.
Okay. So the bodily injury and so forth is subject to the umbrella. But once we get down to this box here, this box is not.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, cyber is sort of a special animal when it comes to insurance. And well, a lot of companies don't write it. It's have to go to specialty markets that write it. And but selectively it does choose to offer what you see here as part of the package policy.
The employee benefits per employee is on a claims made basis. Can you explain what claims made is for the board?
Claims made means that the claim must be made during the policy period.
So if it happened during the period of cover, and then we switch insurers, and after that, we seek coverage for what happened during the period of this policy, we wouldn't be honored because it wasn't, claim wasn't made.
Yeah, we're going to switch carriers on a claims made policy. We can always make sure the new carrier provides what's called full fire packs.
Terrific.
But that's a tricky issue and it's got to be handled correctly. Okay, page 5 is something a little simpler. We're all familiar with auto insurance. Again, the $1 million is supplemented there. It is supplemented by $50 million. The easiest way to read this page is look at those two right-hand columns. One is comprehensive, the other is provision. And you'll see the deductibles are shown there. You'll also see there are 3 vehicles that are shown with asterisk. That means that those are covered on the next page under what is somewhat mysteriously called insurance jargon for basically municipal equipment. And so all your vehicles are covered for comprehensive collision at this point. You also have on this policy what's called non-owned auto. If any employee uses his personal car on the business of the village and has an accident, his liability comes first. And then if his limits are exhausted because of the severity of the accident, then this $1 million or $4 million comes into play. That's called non-owned auto. That's part of it. So, no further questions. I'll keep moving on. Page 6 is your municipal equipment. Includes your mowers and backhoes and equipment of that nature. also over, you'll see unscheduled tools, 20,000. With a maximum of 2,008 one item. I always like a miscellaneous category, because if you pick up something for $1,800 and you don't get notified, it's still gonna be covered. The way this policy is structured.
We just got delivery of a new wood chipper as well. It's about 70,000, so.
Is that ordered or you have?
No,
it?
we just got it last week. So,
Okay.
should we get that info to you as soon as possible?
Oh, sure.
Tomorrow,
What is
sooner than-
the, you know the year and make of it?
Brand new, I don't know. We can get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, so just shoot me an email, give me the usual year, make, VIN number and that. That's a wood chip. That would go. There's the umbrella at the bottom of the page that I mentioned several times. Applies over your general liability, auto liability, public official liability. So not the side account. Speaking of public officials, that policy is at the top of page 7. You have, again, a million limit, but you really have 4 million limits. Public official policy is designed to protect all elected and appointed officials, all employees, volunteers, working in their work. Scope of their official duties on behalf of the village. These kind of claims, public officials are sexual harassment, wrongful dismissal, violation of civil rights, discrimination, hiring, training, and so on. They all fall under the public officials policy. That's also selected. Then there's a crime policy that really protects the village for misappropriation of money, anything entrusted with the money. Again, we don't list names here. It's blanket. So if anybody is in that position in the village, there's 200,000 of coverage there, and that does include volunteers. If you want to volunteer in capacity. And then at the bottom of the page is disability, which probably are aware your workers' comp is through the Circle County Self-Insurance. And a disability is through us. Workers' comp, of course, is for on-the-job injury and pays your medical bills, your part of your lost salary. Disability is for off-the-job injury to your employees, or it could be sickness. Somebody could get involved and not be able to work for 6 weeks. And the benefits basically are statutory. It's a 1 week waiting period, 26-week benefit period, and it's 50% of salary. The statutory amount is 170. I think you've likely chosen to double that. So 50% of the average wage, subject to a maximum of $340 a week. And if you think, in this day and age, you might want to jump to the next level. It's very inexpensive to make a change in disability policy because there's no medical insurance. It's just salary reimbursement. So some of our clients that go to the next level, which would be 510, 3 times that. So just want to mention that.
What, any idea what the premium bump would be?
I could get it quickly for you. It would not be a lot. How many employees do you have? 2,
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
6
My
full time.
guess would be $100 a year. But I could get you an exact figure. Yeah. So, you know, I'll just get you a figure for the next meeting and at the 5:10, right?
When I send you this information, I'll ask for it again, when I send you the information.
Okay, good, okay. I'll give you the information on that. What would help, Sue, if, and maybe Eric has it, the, probably send that form in, every April 1st. If I could get a copy of the most recent one, like the report that Eric, I'm sure, would have sent in, the disability report, on April 1st, it will give me the numbers that I need. They break it down between male and female. And the rate is slightly different for male or female, just the way it works. Somebody might want to know why it's the rate different. The rate is different because disability covers pregnancy. So, and technically, I know sort of bad news for us guys here, but when you live longer than men, healthier than men generally. So, the female rate is a little bit higher, but overall, it will not be a lot to make that change. So, but I'll give you the exact figure. Then over on page 8, you'll see the difference between last year and this year. Remember at the beginning, I said selected by grade amount on the buildings and contents by 4%. That's not, and the increase is about 4%. So it's not all due to that, but it's in part due to that. The other part is, I'm surprised to nobody, you got your insurance bill or your car insurance bill. Insurance and inflation are, well, I think, reasons if you think about it, it costs more to make a repair. Lawsuits are for money, and so that is a contributor also. Then over on the last page, just would want to mention one thing in particular, certificates of insurance, and I know you're good about that. But if you hire anybody, give me a call and I guide you through the process. Certain things, so the risk is transferred from the village to the contractor, and that would be particularly important, as Tom would know, if it was going to be a roofing project, anything of any elevation. So that's part of what we do. Work with your engineer, the architect, whoever is involved in that particular project, to make sure that the village is protected as much as possible. And I know Tom, when he writes his contract with the whole armies in there, and so we try to do everything we can to protect the village from the claim when you write the contract. If you don't do anything, we're going to still protect you. But why should you pay for what is called that contract? So that's, I think, the main thing there. You will notice earthquake and flood are not included. They are available. That would be to we're talking village buildings. So basically, that's a quick summary. I want to exceed my 15 minutes, but were there any questions or anything more I should research? Definitely want to add that new piece of equipment, and then I'll get you the price on the disability insurance. But you've got a good program, a good company. They write a lot of municipalities. They've got a program. Their dividend isn't anything like the fire department. But if they have a good year, they will issue you a rebate. I don't think they had a good year last year because we didn't get a rebate the year before they did. So thank you for your time and for your work. Very much appreciate it. You'll, as long as I'm able, you'll see me here at these meetings, that was full of answer questions. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you all again.
Yeah, it's good to meet you too.
Got a good teacher here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the non-existent agenda is the bids for the ramp. No bids came in, so we are proceeding with talking to individual contractors, fencing, railing people and concrete people, and try to break it out into 2 smaller jobs. So we should. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tom. The other item on tonight, Sharon, the executive director of the Round Lake Auditorium, requested a thank you celebration for many volunteers. And she's asking for, I think it's 700.
The numbers on that.
675, so up to 700. So I will propose a resolution, whereas the executive director of the Round Lake Auditorium has proposed a thank you celebration for the many volunteers who assist the village of Round Lake in making the auditorium capable of hosting programs, performances, and exhibitions, including maintenance, repairs, scheduling, lighting, sound, planning, concessions, sales, set design and production, opening and closing, building, parking, advertising, community outreach, fundraising, and event supervision. And whereas the auditorium and its public offerings would not exist as we know it without the innumerable hours contributed without compensation or adequate acknowledgement. And whereas the executive director considers providing a thank you to these volunteers as an essential component of the auditorium's operation. Now therefore, the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees resolves that up to 700 be expended for a thank you celebration for auditorium volunteers. Said celebrations to be organized by or under the supervision of the executive director of the Round Lake Auditorium. Second, Tom, discussion? Tom?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Me? Yes.
I mean, I don't know, I've been through this before, but every time money is spent like this, there's always a question whether it's needs to get. The board needs to determine whether it's in the public interest. Whether it's necessary.
Very necessary. So many people would be volunteers.
Hey, Jim, your timing is impeccable. We're about to go into executive session.
Perfect. I've got
I'm an executive.
I wanted to make a brief comment. I know I'm.
Oh, okay. Comment from the board.
Yeah, I was going up to get a Zuma the other night. And I think it was Thursday, Friday. And I drove up Route 9 and I was shocked by the number of cars on the west side of Route 9. This is 7:30-ish. around that little building that guy bought. That I heard was this marijuana dispensary. So I decided on the way back down, I'll take a plunge and go in and see what's going on. And there was a number of cars, a few cars parked on the east side. Also, I did go in. Place was packed. It is not a dispensary; it's a marketplace. It was bizarre. When called that, like kind of like a markets of Round Lake or pot, marijuana, trinkets, paraphernalia.
Sounds like what they did up at Saratoga Springs a couple of weeks ago in the parking garage.
I spoke to a lot of people in there and just asked them dumb questions. I was probably the oldest guy in there by 30 years. And there were people, vendors from New York. There was a guy from Maine, a guy from Pennsylvania, there was a guy from Massachusetts. And not to be judgmental on any of it because it's legal now. I don't particularly care. But I would say this: if there's a fire code that has to be looked at with those numbers of people that were in there, it ought to be looked at. I know it's a commercial operation, and I know that we have a zoning issue with that. And when you come out of that place, it's pitch black, and it's pitch black on Route 9, and there's a lot of traffic moving pretty fast down that little road, and there's a lot of people out standing around outside by cars and right on the shoulder. So I just wanted to kind of pass that along. That I don't know what this guy's calling it, or what he claims to know about it, but I can tell you what I.
Our intrepid zoning officer is on it. If you want to.
Next question. How many people were there?
Well, there were, I would say there are a good 12, 14 vendors. Must have been,
I've seen upwards of 20 cars there.
oh, they're easy. There was 30 cars. Because you can park in there. You can get some cars in the lot.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch on Route 9, and then there was a few on the east side of Route 9. I would say, and again, Jimmy, I didn't count, but easy, besides the vendors, easy 30 to 40.
Yeah. No one said anything when you just walked in?
No, just walked in. People offering me samples of this, that, and the other thing.
Wow.
And I made up an excuse. I said I'm here to meet a friend at a certain time. But in the meantime, I'm just walking around the vendors, just checking them out.
Now, were the vendors outside and inside?
No, they're inside only, and I have to say too, they were all pretty nice people. So, but I think if you spend a half hour and they probably have a contact time.
So how long did you spend?
So that's it. I just want to let you guys know.
Yeah, Peter's working on it. He's been in touch with the owner, letting him know what's going on. Working on a solution. So at this point, I would like to make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property.
Yeah.
Is that enough, Tom?
We can't hear you.
What? Why are you going to executive session to discuss that? Isn't that something we should discuss with the public?
At some point, yeah, but not,
Okay.
yeah, you can't spend money. You can't vote to spend money in executive session. That's a no-no.
Okay.
You have to do that in
When
open
you're trying to
session.
buy the property, the price is usually the pivotal issue, and you want to make sure that the
Number is the right
price
number.
that the village is willing to offer is.
Sort of like that field up there.
Sort of like that, yeah.
It was 300,000 and then it went to 110, that one.
So do you need a
Other way
motion?
around.
You need a motion?
You made a motion.
I just made the motion, need a second.
You guys want me to just go outside? Does it take minutes, an hour, 10 minutes?
Oh,
We're done after that.
Oh,
Did
what time did the meeting start?
6:30.
6:30.
I went on the website and there's no agenda, there's no.
Because it was just going to be Dave Meager doing his insurance talk.
Oh.
And I put that on.
6:30 from now on, is that the?
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Sorry.
I didn't get that memo. Now,
Sorry.
I thought it was still at 7.
Sorry.
Can you turn that off?
6?
Yeah.
We're all getting old, we have to go to bed earlier?
Yes,
Sure, I'm wondering.
yes.
That's true, right, now, everybody's retired.
Did you have something, Jim? Did you have something you wanted to bring up before?
No, not really, I just wanted to,
Okay.
what's going on, anything going on with that thing on top of the hill, New York Avenue?
No, he's not. He came in with a new proposal of 4 houses. That's, he hasn't done anything. I think they're just fishing around. They don't know. But no application.
Okay. I looked at the boat ramp again, and that thing is really washing out. You know, I hate to see something that's that valuable get ruined by lack of maintenance.
You say it's washing out, what do you mean?
You mean the asphalt around the
There, with the
circle?
loop
yeah,
around,
yeah, yeah.
one side of it is, it's that far back from where it used to be. So that's, let that go a little longer
No, you're right.
and I think that was it. I'll be at the next one. Sure.
All righty.
Go into executive. What's up with the tower?
Tower.
Okay, what is happening with that?
We are having trouble finding anybody to bid on it.
Did you get somebody to bid on that?
We're working on that.
Okay.
Still,
You know,
we're breaking it into 2 smaller jobs.
I don't do work in the village anymore, sorry. All right, Jimmy, yeah, good night.
So our engineer is talking to us, wood frame structural engineer who is looking at doing something, but it wouldn't include that because that's just too big and heavy. It would be something more delicate and with a smaller housing for the bell. I don't think we're not gonna get that back up 10-ton thing back up there.
Because, it's not sitting on it, it's just sitting on the ground, soaking up more moisture, making it more rotted.
Yeah, well,
So if we're not going to actually put that one back up,
very unlikely.
so would it be removed before winter because you're losing plowing area?
I'm not sure.
They actually removed all the extra pieces of wood, so the only thing that's out there now is the.
Did they do that today?
Yesterday or a couple days ago.
Oh.
They cleaned it up quite a bit, yeah. So it's just the big, the bell tower.
What they're gonna do for winter time when they have to plow.
I think it's kind of behind the telephone
behind the
pole.
line. So I parked right in front of it tonight.
It's what?
I parked right in front of it.
Yeah.
today. So it's like, oh, it's way off.
Well,
Yeah.
we're not gonna erect that one back up.
Right. We'll auction it off to the highest bidder. Put it in their yard. Without the bell.
That's
Alright.
the only piece that we're concerned with.
Yeah. So we had a second. We voted to go into executive session. Is that right? Do I remember that correctly?
We had,
Are we in executive session now?
Yeah.
Shut this down.
well, kind of, I started to.